Hey, what's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This is JB right here, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew. I'm talking about Shad, Kelvin, and Jermaine, who will be and will continue to provide new content along the way. And for everyone who is tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make this podcast the best that it can possibly be. Now check it out. I have to give props to these two players right here, because for all practical purposes, these two remain true to the game, all in the same vein, because they were being coerced and being encouraged and being pushed to join alliances with current superstars, franchise level players, and form abominable super teams. I'm talking about one Kawhi Leonard and one Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now remember, let's turn back the hands of time to 2019. And this is when Kawhi Leonard went on a historic playoff run and led the Toronto Raptors to their first ever NBA championship title. He was the talk of the town. He is being treated like royalty. He is being treated like the top dog. Now, me personally, I always thought that Kawhi Leonard should have re-signed with Toronto to help them defend their championship. But nonetheless, he became a free agent. He's being recruited by the Los Angeles Lakers, in particular, LeBron James. Now, weeks prior to his free agency, they had just traded the farm to get Anthony Davis. And you had the pundits, the talking heads proclaiming that they were 95% sure that Kawhi Leonard was going to sign with the Lakers. So you're talking about newly crowned champion, who is considered the best two-way player in basketball in his prime, is going to join forces with who they now try to present as the proverbial GOAT in LeBron James, and a generational talent, as they call it, in Anthony Davis. So essentially, you're talking about the best player in the game and then two other, at the time, top 10 players in the game. That would have been, now, many people estimated that LeBron James was no worse than the second or third best player in the league. So let's just say theoretically, you're talking about number one player, number three player, Anthony Davis. Some viewed him as a potential league MVP. So let's say top 7. That would have been an abomination. No competition, no competitive value whatsoever. But Kawhi made a wise choice and turned down that offer to create that super team and signed with the Los Angeles Clippers. And like I said, I believe he should have re-signed with Toronto. But nonetheless, to me, he saved the NBA from going under and nearly collapsing. Because if that would have happened, I mean, you're talking about a situation where a team could conceivably win 75 games. You know, because you knew they would have put other high-level talent around, you know, shooters galore, high-level veterans trying to, you know, punch that ticket, that one last bask of glory. You know, but kudos to Kawhi Leonard for not doing that. And although he has not won a championship with the Clippers, he can say, you know what? I didn't participate in the madness. You know what I'm saying? And then you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who going into the 2020-2021 season, he was the 2-time reigning league MVP, defensive player of the year. Man, and they was pushing hard for Giannis to lead Milwaukee. They was trying to get him to believe that he could never lead the Milwaukee Bucks to the championship because they were playing in a small market. But there's plenty of teams that won championship that represent small markets. So that was a misnomer from the get. But once Kawhi and Leonard turned their offer down, they were trying to get Giannis to turn down an extension with Milwaukee to become an unrestricted free agent and sign with the Lakers to play with, guess who? LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So, back-to-back league MVP, defensive player of the year, entering his prime, who essentially is getting you 28, 30 points a game, 14, 15 rebounds a game, and about 5 or 6 assists a game, not to mention the block shots and his presence as a defensive force. So you're talking about the same scenario, an abomination super team. And at that point, to me, as a fan, a lifelong fan of this league, going back, 5 decades, me personally, I would have shut it down and said it's been a great ride. There's no use in me watching this no more, because if we're not promoting competition, because that's what sports is supposed to be about. You want to see the best go against the best. Why watch it at all? Why watch it at all? That was my attitude. And Giannis became a luminary and saved the NBA. And actually set the tone for this decade. A sole superstar choosing to forego the trend, buck the trend, no pun intended, and he believed enough in himself and his team, setting the tone, showing the Chris Middletons of the world, the Brook Lopez of the world, and his remaining team, his other teammates, to show them, I believe in you, Bobby Portis, I believe in us. We can do it together. We can win a championship. We can bring a title to Milwaukee for the first time since 1971. And when the pundit said he couldn't do it, he did it that season. He did it that season, overcame a 2-0 deficit in the finals versus the highly talented Phoenix Suns. And he delivered arguably the greatest block in the history of the finals to tie the series at 2-2. Played epic in Game 5 to set the stage for what I feel is the greatest closeout performance ever to clinch an NBA World title. 50 points, something like 14 rebounds, 5 block shots, and hit 17 of 19 free throws. And he did that coming off a hyperextended knee that he suffered in the conference finals midway versus the Atlanta Hawks. He became a luminary. See, he claimed his mark as a legendary figure of the NBA. And if it wasn't for Chris Middleton's injury the following year, there's a good chance that the Bucks would have repeated as champions. But these two men, they turned down and bucked the trend, man, and believed in themselves enough to say, you know what, I believe we can do this. I can be the driving force. I don't need 2 other superstars to win. And as Giannis said, after he won that title, and he had that cigar in his hand with that trophy, and his grasp, he said, I could have joined a super team. I could have did my part. But that's easy. That's easy. That's easy. That's easy. That's how he said it. You know what I mean? And it was a beautiful moment in the NBA, man. Beautiful moment. So I just want to give kudos to these two great players, man, for doing what they did, helping to save this league. Because if they would have caved in to the pressure, at that point, it'd been a point of no return. So I just want to give a shout out. This is JB right here. And until next time, BTB behind the bench.